Hello, this is Laura from TheYarnCloset in Tucson, Arizona. It is Saturday, I think October 5th. I tried to post a finished object earlier this week, but somehow in editing craziness, I lost it. It was a quick little 10-minute video about my last finished sweater. So the kids are quiet in their room. I think I will just go ahead and do a short multi-sweater finished object video. A couple of questions I've had. What's through that? What is that? Okay, this is just a cutout in the wall, and then there's a doorway. Where I sit is when we looked through the house, what they deemed the dining room, but it flows right into our living room. Our living room is sunken by a couple of steps. It's a very popular thing here in the older houses. We have a late 60s slump block house. The type of brick this is called slump block. That brick is the same brick that you see on the outside of the house. We have a weird pitch to our roof, so hanging things, everything always looks a little wonky. And our ceilings are lower. I miss those Midwestern 9-foot ceilings and crown molding and such. I miss that kind of thing. But I took over this so that I could be more part of the family when I needed my specialty tools for the yarn, the special magnifiers. And so now sometimes the kids will come sit in a chair over here and watch a video while I'm watching my podcasts and knitting, and then hubby might be sitting in his chair right over there, and the dogs are all on the couch. And then we put our table in our kitchen, so we have an eat-in kitchen, because there was a little bump out from our kitchen space. It was very small, and so we just utilized that. I do like small living. At some point in my future, there will be some downsizing happening, even if it's just downsizing the things out of here as the kids get bigger, making more room. And I think as my eyesight gets worse, as my mom has found, it's so much easier to have a cupboard that you open up and there's only a few things in there and you don't have to go to behind stuff to understand what it is there. You get less confused. So the video that I was going to show you, and you all saw in the other video that I talked a little bit about the other Yarny Arts, was this sweater. And yes, if you can't hear me, turn your volume up or put on some headphones. This sweater has taught me so much. So much. So far this year, I started out with this. It was supposed to be knit in 2 pieces and seamed, but I hate seaming. What I should have done is just crocheted the seam and not sewed it, because I went bottom up so I could do it in the round, and then I did short bits over the to finish off the arms. It just didn't work out. I found that I do have a bit of a ball of this left, so I am going to take this apart and rework it a little bit, because I think I would use it if the shape up here was better, because I have little nubbins here, and so I think I am going to end up taking this apart and redoing it. That was my first sweater almost a year ago. Then I did Very Pink Knits cardigan that I gave my mom. It was a raglan top down. It was a great learner. I love crocheting and knitting raglans. It's just so easy and it grows so nicely, and it's, one piece. It's lovely. I love it. I don't like wearing them. I think I don't have big enough shoulders. I just don't like wearing them. So then I knit this baby. Bottom up, in the round. Had some problems, ended up making the neckline a bit tighter than I wanted to. Found out the true joy of blocking and growing a superwash because it grows more vertically. Love that one. I know I will get wear out of it. But this was touted as a worsted weight, Marley Bird worsted weight merino, superwash merino. And then this is a Yowza, which is, I think they say it's a DK, but worked just fine for this little color section, and you really don't see any big difference. And my color was really kind of loose, because it was the first time I was kind of working some floats here, working in some stripes in a garment in knitting. So then I went to a Lion brand, which said it was a worsted merino. And I thought, this is kind of thin. It's more sport or DK. So I knit with it a little bit, and then I thought, okay, if I knit on the same size needle that I used on the Marley Bird worsted, I'm just going to get a much drapier fabric, a much lighter fabric. Because how can I make light sweaters in Tucson without having a 1,200 yard fingering weight sweater that takes me 6 months and I get so bored? Because I have learned that I get so bored. I love the plain colors with a little pop. What? I'm podcasting.
Oh, sorry.
I'll come in a minute. And I found this brown to just be really, really boring to knit with. So I was going bottom up, decided to do some more color work. Then I was going again to get underneath the sleeves, but it was just so boring. I couldn't imagine. And at that point I was going to try to do a curved yoke with more of the color in it, but I didn't like the instructions. I didn't think it would work well for me. So I tried to do bottom up raglan, and I did a little bit of ribbing to make the plain color not so boring. And I knew that would pull things in. It did. It pulled it in really great. I ended up getting this kind of saddle shoulder. Love it. But I got a lot of floats in here. I had to go through and sew them up. And it's not as neat and tidy of a raglan line as it could be, but it works. I feel nervous wearing this because it is so light that it's going to get snagged. And I'm not entirely in love with this just simple bind off. But it really did reinforce blocking, and you can see those pictures on Patreon or my Instagram. Instagram is TheYarnCloset Arizona, AZ. Patreon is TheYarnCloset. You can follow on free on Patreon. So that taught me a lot. I think I need to work with truly sport weight yarn, but in a slightly denser gauge to get the sweater that I feel really comfortable wearing. Because people have said you can crank out those crochet sweaters. Yes. The crochet granny square sweaters, the crochet raglans. I can totally crank these out really, really fast. I just don't like the fabric that they give me. Not being able to see well being legally blind, you become very concerned that the fabric is too thin, it might be see-through, and you know that other people can see stuff better than you can. So you're concerned about your modesty, I think, to a greater extent. One reason why I don't wear the light brown khaki pants anymore, because too often somebody will tell me there's a spot on my butt. You know, so I just don't do that anymore. But it has taken me all year of really diving in and trying to figure out this sweater thing to realize what I'm going to wear myself, because I haven't worn sweaters in a long time. Menopausal, Tucson, but it's also taught me that if you're monogamous and you just stick to something, there are going to be times you may not like it, but in the end, you're going to be so happy. Now, there are people, that's a lesson for life. And also, if you're going to be monogamous about something, make it the thing you truly want. Whether it's knitting or your relationship or your job or whatever. Because I have also found in the last week, I needed a break from the sweater. So look, this is crown decreases. I cast on some hats and learned how to do the crown decreases, which weren't as difficult as I thought. I just had to go to multiple resources until somebody said it in a way that I could understand it and gave me an equation that I could follow, okay? So there's one hat I already gifted, there's that hat, there's this hat in progress, there's this hat in progress. The kids are off school this next week. I think I'm gonna crank out, maybe I'll rip this back, but I'm hoping to crank out or finish 4 more hats, because I'm enjoying it and I can just stick in it and be monogamous. The reason I got so many started is so I can make bags and just take the one I'm interested in working on. Because to me, yes, that's not just one project, but when you get down to the crown decreases, it's easier to have other needles. And like I did this one when I was out watching my son's magic performance, and I got a little confused. So that's why I have a couple of them started, so that when I am traveling, it's just the ribbing and this simple stockinette. And that's also something that these sweaters taught me, that sweaters are good travel if you're just at a certain point. So this sweater did teach me a lot. Oh my gosh, I love the way it looks. I love the way it looks. There's a few oopses. I wish I didn't have those. I wish the arms were just a bit tighter. You know, I learned how to tweak because I didn't quite get it what I want, so now I can tweak it the next time. Of course, I don't think I wrote it down. Ooh, these are ends. These are live ends. I have to do something here. And I think it's great to actually look at your projects and think about when you're done, not just it's pretty, I love it, but what did it teach me? Because I think a lot of us just keep going and going and going, and we don't give ourselves enough credit that we've established that next milestone. We've learned that next skill. And we need to do that, because in the midst of all the craziness of life and all that other stuff, encourage yourself with your accomplishments. You know, if nobody else is going to, encourage yourself. And if you don't encourage yourself first, why would anybody else encourage you? I mean, if you're always putting yourself down. So that's my tidbit. Look with your heart first. I'll try to get this posted up today. I'm trying to do short posts weekly, and then 1 or 2 longer with Grandma every month, because everybody loves Kitty. Look with your heart first.